This like when, if I was a rapper, that's like an album cover. My name is Brandon M. Cleveland. So my current profession is I'm a business developer. So I got into business development because originally when I graduated from undergrad, I had an opportunity to work in downtown Ensley running a small business. And so I did that for a year, and so I was bit by the bug at that point to own my own business. I had a love for how business grows and, like, you know, the ideas you have to come up with to increase the capacity of your business, but also, you know, just like the day-to-day grind in order to get your business to sustain. And so I went from there to wanting to understand, like, how could I do this more, or how can I help people more with running their businesses? And then is like all this happened while I was under 25. It was wanting to say, okay, now I want to help a community grow businesses around it. And so in order for a community to grow, you need businesses to help it thrive. And so there again, I didn't see that in high school, but my passion began to like push me to develop businesses and passion for people. So that's how I ultimately got into it as far as from a passion standpoint. Create some memories with me in your next leg of your golden years. Come right here. As a kid, my family structure was interesting to say the least. I have an older brother, my mother who has worked in the warehouse industry for over 20 plus years, and my pop who is now deceased, but was a big impact in my life. So my family structure taught me to not only, again, understand what community is, but work hard. So that's what my structure was teaching me and taught me. Growing up on the west side of Birmingham developed me as an adolescent to not only be aware of your surroundings, but also be prepared to protect that which is yours, and also get an understanding of what community is. I attended Ramsey High School. Going to Ramsey High School, which is not like the neighborhood school for me where I grew up, put me in unfamiliar surroundings or from kids from other parts of the city. So it taught me that, you know, my neighborhood or my community was bigger, or the city was bigger than my neighborhood. So if I could say anything about it, it taught me that where you grow up, the block you grow up on, your city, you know, the world is so much bigger than that. But if I had to describe what it did to develop me, it taught me how to maintain character while pursuing to make friends or grow your community. I attended the University of Montevallo, and my major was business administration. You know, Montevallo is an interesting place. It's one of the few, if not the only, public liberal arts in the Southeast. And so since we don't have a football team, something we're very passionate about is our culture and art and acting and theater. And so one thing that going to the University of Montevallo did for me that I didn't realize until later was my love for art. my love for approaching, music and theater, just films. I would definitely say, like, between music, art, and film watching, it definitely helped. Having physical wealth allows you to have the likelihood to have more time, AKA time wealth. So prime time quote, wealth definition, being wealthy with time because you're taking care of yourself from a physical standpoint, which leads you to talk about physique and having, confidence. I'm so busy with the community, sometimes it feels like it's two of me, but as far as involvement, one, I sit on the board of directors for Urban Impact, which is a nonprofit organization housed in the 4th Avenue Business and Civil Rights District, charged with the economic development of that district. I also sit on the board of directors for Ignite Alabama, which is a nonprofit organization focused on minorities and disenfranchised citizens doing business in Alabama. Teaching them the skill sets that they need in order to grow, start, or scale their business. I also partner and serve the 9th Episcopal District of the African Methodist Episcopal Church as their consultant in the executive director role. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Shout out to the bros. I'm also a member of the Inslee Business Alliance. I also serve as a volunteer for our organization for the EBA. So needless to say, my involvement runs pretty deep in my community, in my city. How I got involved in the organizations and the community, or some of the organizations that I mentioned, and there's still others that I didn't mention, but it started with me building relationships. Again, going back to, what do I bring or what have I brought to the industry that I'm in is the relationship piece. Oftentimes we want to sell products or we want to provide services, but we haven't established a good relationship base. I would say the key is, people do business with people they trust. People do business with people they know. And so you can't do business development without building trust, and you can't do business development by yourself. I had to learn how important relationships are. I had to learn what sacrifice looks like. And I also had to learn that it's not about me. But it's about us, because if you try to do something alone and isolate yourself, you only create an island. And if you create an island, only so many people can get on that island. But if you create, a country or a continent, so to speak, the number of people you can add is endless.
Lord have mercy.
These your fine years. You remember that? You don't remember when you used to be fine?
Put it on the cover. I'm gonna break out this summer.
Okay. Yeah, this is actually like a New York summer right here. Some of the community leaders or mentors that have helped me along the way, and hundreds of people. There would be, whether it's the older lady that serves as a community officer for her neighborhood, who has a passion about, trash pickup and making sure her community looks attractive when she comes home, or has a family visiting her, to my pop, who was on dialysis and dealt with chronic illness for over 20 years and how every single day he got up and fought for that day that he had in front of him. To my mother, you know, like I said, working 20+ years in the warehouse, and how committed she was to provide a quality life for me and my brother. Or, you know, the men and women of God who pour the word into me and encourage me to spread the gospel, so to speak, about the kingdom of God. Or to the bankers, the lawyers in my life who talk to me about business, talk to me about how to do things in a decent and in order approach. To say how did they shape me, I would say that they made me decide to pursue to do things the right way. Because when people help you so much, you know, or encourage you so much, you want to get it right. You know, I feel obligated to attempt at least to do the best I can. So between the mentors, the community leaders, or the citizens that, you know, I share this city with, they all play an impact on how I approach life. I am running for the Birmingham City School Board, District 9, which services 7 schools from a district standpoint, but being on this, the Board of Education is not specific to just the district. It is an opportunity to serve the city as a whole and in its entirety. So that will be the first thing. Right? I've raised my hand asking for the opportunity to serve these children, these 20,000+ children we have in the school system, and their parents and the teachers. The second thing that I have done or am doing is being educated on education, not only from a local standpoint, but from a state standpoint and a federal standpoint. Because if I'm wanting children to be educated, I have to be educated on what education looks like in this country. Without education, you're under-preparing the future citizens of a city. So if I'm looking into the future and I'm trying to see, or I want to grow the best city possible, I have to invest in the citizens of the future. And to deny the citizens of the future the opportunities they need is to deny my city the future that it needs. So I just think it is in best practice to invest in the people who are going to run the city in the future, if you believe in the future. You know, my vision for the Birmingham City school system is a day where we celebrate our children being in our system and not being in specific schools. To say that a child is going to one school but not another school is better for that child is to say that we're not creating the best system possible for all our kids. So my vision is a day where, again, we're not celebrating schools, but we celebrate the system. For a person to understand how they can build their wealth, their physical wealth, and how that contributes more time and gives them more relationships. I give us an example. It would be like, I akin it to if someone said to me, Brandon, if you wanted to grow in your time wealth, AKA be in better physical shape so you can live longer, if you wanted to grow in relationships, if you wanted to grow in pushing through, it would be like boxing. And so before you can get in the ring, there's certain exercises you got to do to prepare for the ring. And you're not ready for the ring until you do those exercises. What's next for Brandon Cleveland? So I'm now venturing into developing a commercial property for my community. And inside that property, which is called Beacon, because we're striving to bring light to our city and to our community. It would entail a place for people to come and get served in so many ways, whether that's getting mental health resources, whether that's enjoying the pleasures of cosmetic assistance in their beauty, a place for them to come congregate and enjoy art, a place for them to come shop, a place for them to come eat. But most importantly, the next chapter for me is the early pillars of me building the community I speak so much about, that I believe that people need and that I want the next generation to have. So I've laid my first brick. So, a brick a day, I should be able to get it built for us. That's what I believe. So something people can do to help bring Beacon to life. They can reach out to me, watersideglobal@gmail.com. They could also send us letters of support. That's 517 18th Street, Ensley, Birmingham, Alabama, 35208. They can support me running for school board, because being on the school board would allow me to provide opportunities to our children at Beacon. So they can go to BrandonClevelandD9.com and share, give, volunteer. And it's gonna be a stretch, but I said they can text me, like 205-747-5181. I am not off limits, I'm all in. And if they can do anything else, I would ask them to keep me in their prayers.